brush of angels' wings, I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely it is. Good morning. Please stand as you are able, and we will sing Morning Has Broken. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for his singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Beautiful.
All we needed was an organ. Yeah, well, a pipe organ would have done justice to that. The whole arrangement of it would have been, yeah, that. I knew you could do it. Good morning and welcome to Unity Skagit Valley, and that's just the beginning. Who knows what will happen? Who knows what will happen on a Sunday morning here? We aspire to bring our highest and best awareness to these moments that we share. And that highest and best awareness is that we are all living expressions of the one presence and one power. That we are all innately endowed with the inheritance of that infinite and ever-flowing presence of God. And in that and through that, we affirm that what we need, what we long for, is that edge, that fine edge of something deeper that's wanting to emerge in and through us. When we think we have a need, when we think we have a want, when we think we have a desire of some sort, it's always that leading edge into a deeper state of awareness, into a more expanded state of possibility. Something's trying to happen in our lives. And so this morning for you online and for those of you here, we welcome you in the warm and loving spirit of unity and in the awareness of that one presence and one power by any name, the one we have referred to as God, as presence, as love, as spirit, as the Holy Spirit, in any form, in any expression, in and through all aspects and facets of life and expression. There is but one presence and one power. That means whatever the color, whatever the gender, whatever the way of loving, whatever the way of being, there's but one presence and one power expressing in and through each and all forms of life on all the different essences of expression. I love that word, essence. Essence. What is your essence? You say, I am divine. What is your essence? I am an overcomer. I am guided. What is your essence? Love, pure love, infinite access to divine power and possibility. All things are yours. For you live and move and have your being in the kingdom of heaven, we say, in the here and the now, the kingdom of heaven. So if you're online, please visit our website to see what's going on here during the week and in the upcoming weeks. We have many things to tantalize you. And on the back of your program are our announcements. What's happening in July, it's right here for you. And instead of repeating it and boring you to death with announcements on Sunday morning when you say, I didn't really come for the announcements, we are amenable to that and amenable to being taught. So here are your announcements. They're here every Sunday morning. They're also on the website, Unity SV, SV as in victory, unitysv.org. And we have new things going on every week. This week we have a prayer team meeting on Tuesday at 2:30. 2. And please know that our prayer ministers are in high-powered action these days. Many people calling upon our people to pray. Would you pray with me, we say? Kay's keys are found. Well, it's a story, it's all with Kay, it's a story. The place we were staying, Kay has a habit, she unpacks her suitcase. I don't, because I don't like to leave things behind. I love my stuff. So there's Kay, spreading good throughout the world. And they couldn't go into the room because it's private if somebody's renting it for a day or a few days. So they couldn't really go and look there. We tried the security at the hospital. We did everything we could. And no keys, no purse. And finally, we got a call on Friday on our way home from the hospital saying, I think it was Friday, could have been Thursday, could have been Wednesday. We don't know the days anymore. Anyway, we got a call saying, we found your handbag and the keys in the room where you were staying. Well, then it was, how are we going to get it here? Because those are Kay's only keys. Well, my friend Kathy was coming today. So we called Kathy and said, would you? She said, well, I'm going to do it after work today because Taylor Swift is coming to town. And so we received a photo of the handbag and the keys, and I'm believing that Kathy has them in her possession even now, which is something I am deeply gratified for because we've only had one car, and you know how that goes anyway. Hi, I love you. I've missed you. Louise, would you do our daily word for us? Would you pray our daily word for us? Renew, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's good for everybody.
It's good for everybody, I agree.
Yeah, I have to add, my mother, if my mother could have lived as long as she would have liked, she would have been 116 today.
Happy birthday.
Just thought I'd share.
Happy birthday.
Renew. I am restored by the Spirit of God within me. Renewal is part of the rhythm of daily life. Eating and drinking to nourish and replenish my body, resting to quiet my mind, and sleeping after a day of activity are all ways to renew myself. But sometimes those efforts aren't quite enough to sustain me. At times when I feel drained at depth, I may need spiritual renewal. God, the one presence and power, is with me always, but it is up to me to keep my awareness of God strong. When I awaken, I say a prayer of blessing for what the day will bring. Throughout the day, I feel God's presence all around me. When I prepare for sleep, I say a prayer of gratitude for all the day has brought. In God, I am renewed moment by moment, day by day. And from 2 Corinthians 4, verse 18, we look not at what can be seen, but at what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you. Happy birthday to your mother. Because of your mother, you're here. One of our greatest gifts. Louise is one of our greatest gifts. She may not always believe that, but we believe it about her. Lowell Fillmore was one of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore's sons. And he wasn't, Lowell was kind of a behind-the-scenes guy. He wasn't in the president's office as the president of Unity. He wasn't messing around in the political structure or the evolution of things in many ways. He was just a steady on kind of guy. And he was still living when I went to Unity Village in 1976, or he had just recently passed when it was in the near vicinity of time, at least. But he was of the sons of their sons. Each one had a significant role to play. One was the designer and the behind-the-scenes catalyst for the building of Unity Village, with its property and grounds and its magnificence. It is such a beautiful place. And now, at this time, in the summer, when all the fountains are on and the rose gardens are blooming and everything is in its highest form of beauty, Unity Village is a place you want to go. So just think about, Kansas City might not be your goal, but Unity Village would be. And what a gift to go, stay in what they call the Spiritual Life Center, which is the hotel on grounds, and explore the beauty that's been maintained and restored at Unity Village. It's a gift. Anyway, Lowell Fillmore. When for a purpose, I had prayed and prayed and prayed until my words seemed worn and bare with arduous use. And I had knocked and asked and knocked and asked again, and all my fervor and persistence brought no hope. I paused to give my weary brain a rest and ceased my anxious human cry. And in that still moment, after self had tried and failed, there came a glorious vision of God's power. And lo, my prayer was answered, he said, in that hour. In that still moment, after self had tried and failed, there came a glorious vision of God's power. And lo, my prayer was answered in that hour. There came a vision, a realization of the power that moves in and through us, that is us, is the very expression of us. We try and try and try to make things happen. And then there comes that still moment after we've done everything we could, including beat our heads against the wall a few times to make life be the way we think it should be. He said there came a stillness in all that fervor. And in that moment, I had a vision of the power of God, that openness, that receptivity to what it is that's working in our lives. And my prayer was answered in that hour. What was his prayer? A prayer for peace, a prayer for abundance, a prayer for right order in some fashion or another. And suddenly he realized there was something bigger, something more at work. And in that was this expansive revelation, if you will, of all that was good. And he found his peace in that moment. Sometimes we work too hard to try to make life be. Try to make it be. Like trying to make your body be. Like trying to make your mind be. When what it requires most is a willingness to open, a willingness to allow, a willingness to turn over whatever that is that we've been stirring to the power that is present in and through us all, the power, the wisdom, everywhere present, within and without. Sometimes we pray for our loved ones. We say, I don't know how this is going to work out for you. And then somehow we witness that there's already something at work. There's already a miracle present for that one, in that one. And we were trying so hard to make the pieces fit, and from the revelation within, suddenly things move. And we say, oh, thank you, God, but we worked our tails off to try to make it happen. So then we frequently take credit for it. You know, I prayed. It's like, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and look what happened. No, you let go. Finally, look what happened. Trust. Building trust every day. More trust. So I have chemo this week. The third one that I didn't want. And pray it wouldn't happen. What did I just say to you? And prayed and prayed and prayed that wasn't coming up. Didn't need it. Was like, I'm sure I'm fine. I mean, really, the stories we tell ourselves. Anyway, it's happening on Tuesday, and So that's just another piece of this puzzle that's working. That means next Sunday I won't be here, but I'll be here the following Sunday. And you'll have a wonderful time with my friend Ruth Ann. So be here to honor her. She stepped in quickly to fill that opportunity for us. Let's sing to each other about how beautiful we are. I like that.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
We love that song. We love to feel it and sing it and share it. How could anyone ever tell you that you are less than whole or perfect? We say, the mind says, perfect. I'm not perfect. But the reality is, and has always been, that you are perfect. For you are made of the life, the heart, the essence of spirit. We think, oh, these bodies. Oh, these bodies. Let me count the ways these bodies work or don't work. But the reality is, although the body might be askew, the reality of your being is the infinite expression of pure love. That which you are, that which you have always been, that which you will be eternally, is the presence of pure and perfect love. With your breath, honor yourself, your divine self, by bringing your attention into the awareness of that one presence and power that is the truth of you, the reality of your being. Honor the beloved within you, that which is and will ever be beloved of God. With your breath, within your heartbeat, is the place of pure and abiding peace. Within your breath, within your heartbeat, the presence of peace. Loving Spirit, renew my mind through your guidance. I open myself to the light of your wisdom. And I allow my mind to rest from the labor of creating and finding and doing and seeing and being, improving and stretching and everything the mind tells you is essential. As you step away from the clutter and chaos and all the voices in your head, you shift your attention to the presence of peace Peace, you say. Peace and more peace. Within the heart, there's an infinite supply of peace. Spirit, rise in me as deeper trust. Faith. My heart knows the truth. I open my heart to an expanded experience of love. Pure love flowing freely, unlimited, in and through, extending in all directions. And in that love, I let go. I let go. I let go of the things that no longer have a place in me. As I allow this infinite greater love to flow freely as me, in me, through me, around me. With my breath, I open my inmost being to this river of pure life. A life that takes on color and a texture that reminds me inwardly and outwardly that I am a bubbling fountain of divine expression, a life force, moving in and through every aspect of my being is more powerful than I could ever imagine. I am a bubbling up and an overflowing of spiritual energy that has and is and will ever be my source, my sustenance, my reality. With my mind open and my heart flowing love in all directions and this bubbling life force energy filling my being, I know that I am cared for and safe, and that Spirit is at work in faith, believing, in knowing and trusting. All things are working together for good for you, for your loved ones, in our world, in all directions, in all forms of life. The power of good is at work. We affirm it. We know it to be so, and so it is. Amen. There you go. Woo.
My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Everyone has a story. Everyone has pain. When we strip away our masks, we find we're really all the same. It's those little things we say and do that can mean so much. It's a smile, a connection, a simple loving touch. My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Today I'm gonna ask myself, what more can I do to be a radiant child of God? Let my love shine through. I'm gonna let my heart be thy guide to give the best of me. I'm gonna share my joy, share my love, give it boundlessly. My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God's a feeling that lives deep inside. My job's to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. The Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came running after. Jack, tell me, what can I do to help you ease your mind? He said, hold my hand, just be kind. I know I'll be fine. My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God's a feeling, lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness. I practice it every day. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. My religion is kindness. I practice it every day.
Wow. Where did you, Ireland, where'd you get that?
That song?
Yeah. Have we, is it Kieran's? Yeah. It's a great song. I thought maybe you'd do the boomerang song. Do not fall down those stairs. I thought maybe you'd do the boomerang song this morning. Do you remember the boomerang? Like a boomerang? Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't get it in my head last night, but I was working and I thought, these songs play long after you've heard them. Oh, really? Well, there you go. Just never know what people do. No. Curiosity. We're way ahead of schedule. We would just be starting the meditation usually. That announcement thing was eating all our time. There you look at Ellen's cheering in the back. Yay! Ellen, thank you. Andrew? I assume so. It's the last Sunday of the month. It's the last Sunday of the month. It's a constant. I don't know that anybody's changed it. Okay, there you go. Potluck next week. Ellen, can you make a note that for the announcements? in the what's happening. What's happening? What's happening? Yep. I don't. There. Pages. So for the last few weeks, I've talked about this thing called divine order, that we call divine order, that in quantum physics is called an implicate order, that which is and cannot be not. It's an is, implicate order. The very, there's no description, there's no way to describe. Let me start it here. When we talk about divine order, we can easily focus on power of that's available to us as beings, as spiritual beings. Divine order, we say, it's the order and the harmony of the universe and all life. Divine order, all things are in divine order. It's a powerful affirmation. I live and move and have my being in divine order, or guided by a divine order. Or what do we mean when we say it? We say divine order is and is. Well, in quantum physics, the exploration from the scientific standpoint led to this opening, if you will, in understanding that before there was an is and an isn't, or a was and a wasn't, there is this constancy of an implicate order. It's the basis, but not quantifiable. It's the basis of all. That it isn't just because we believe in metaphysics, or because we believe in certain laws, or we believe that things unfold in particular ways in accord with the spiritual teaching or otherwise. It is that which was before and in and through and as all that that we can understand, and from that comes all that is. We have to be careful when we talk about things like implicate order, not to make it too small, again, that it's just about our universe. It's the is of all and as ever and forever more. And I can't describe it more than that, except when I think about the most powerful spiritual awareness I've had, it sets me into harmony with this that I would call divine order, or this implicate order. I may not know the way, I may not know the how, I may not know the when, I may not know the as is, but I can know that all things have always been and are now and shall ever be in this perfection of order. Jesus called it the kingdom of the heavens, or the kingdom of God. He was more given to talk about the kingdom of the heavens. Why? Because he had an awareness that when we would live in alignment with this awareness, we would live in a state not of sorrow, suffering, but of a peace and a knowing that his Father, my Father, our Father, resides not just in one place or one faith, but as the reality of all. The kingdom of the heavens. He said it's within you. It's your nature, it's your beingness. You couldn't exist if you were not that, which we would call the kingdom of heaven. You are the divine abiding and expressing in form out of this quantum it gives me goosebumps, but it's too big to talk about. I've run up against it now for several weeks. You could call it foundation of all. And we say, and many say, that's what we call God. Well, God is the definition we have given and tried to explore and understand, because we've not been able to think beyond. There must be something, someone, some way to understand our relationship with life. How did I get here? Who am I? What's this story? And in many different expressions, that story has been explored, and people come to it in different ways. Buddhists come from this direction, and Christian evangelical comes from this direction, and Catholic comes from this direction. And we say, tell me about your God. For all time we've said, tell me about your God. And tell me about my relationship to this God. Help me understand, what's my relationship? Am I a cog in a wheel, or am I a separate entity? What David Bohm said about implicate order is it's oneness. It's oneness, and it can be no other. It is one. Divine order, then we point to it and say, oh, it's oneness. And it becomes clear and differently expressed as I continue to grow in consciousness and awareness. So we start with kind of a primal understanding, or whatever we're taught, or we're wide open, and we start with a wide open sense that we're one with all of life and life is good. But then we lose that and we take on form. And in that, our God looks like this, and then we become expanded in some way, and our God suddenly looks way different than the God of 70 years ago, or in whatever age range you are. We've changed our God. We have creatively, knowingly expanded in consciousness, and we've changed our God along with us. You think about the God you used to pray to or think about, and you notice that you've changed your God. Well, we say, well, you've changed your God concept. But the reality, the baseline in all tradition is this seeking after what's my relationship in this experience we call oneness. And that's what we're growing toward. Who am I in oneness? What does that mean to be in oneness with all of life, with the creative energy of life itself? So along the way, we make these choices and decisions. And there may be one perfect order, but depending on where we are in our awareness in that time, we make different choices. And we say, wish I hadn't made that one. Or, that's the one that changed everything. And not always in a positive way. But we look at it and we say, well, from the level I understood, that's what was available to me in my seeking, in my understanding. And suddenly we find a whole lot more peace with our past, our history, our decisions, when we begin to see that that in truth it was all leading into a greater opening, a greater possibility, if we can allow that. Cause and effect, we've always, in Unity or in other, in the books and all these things that you read that come out of teachings like Unity, we talk about cause and effect, that we live in a cause and effect world. What we sow is what we reap. What we think is what we are in any given time. But we come to see that even our understanding of cause and effect is not what it seemed to be. That as we expand creatively in consciousness, that I don't have to stumble in the way I used to and learn from the same painful lessons I've already lived. I don't have to keep beating my head against the wall to try to make my life be a particular way. I've grown in my understanding that yes, I bring forth with my thoughts and my current understanding choices, and those choices are my learning experiences, and for our children or for ourselves or in whatever way we're always dabbling in the field, and there seems to be a corresponding effect to that. We look at it and we see it from that standpoint, and we see, I remember the first time somebody said, you can't get bread at Radio Shack. Do you remember that? Do you remember hearing that? No? Really? Oh, I was talking about how we make the same mistakes over and over again and keep going back to the same place to get that managed, handled, met. And that you can't hold that same state of consciousness and expect that things in the external will shift. And then one day the light bulb goes on and you notice that that cause and effect is no longer a choice you wish to make. And suddenly you step through a doorway in your own being and you see, oh, I get it. When I'm in this mode, this is my outcome, cause and effect. Cause and effect. It's the boomerang effect to some degree or another. Bread at Radio Shack was back in the days of codependency and all of our transformational stuff. And it was a byline. I don't even think Radio Shack exists anymore. But I can tell you, they never sold bread. And if you were going there to get it, you weren't going to find it any more than you were going to find milk or your breakfast cereal. But the pattern of that, so strong that when you actually step through that pattern, you did one of two things. You either continued to make that choice in another place. Oh, I'll try Blockbuster. They've got popcorn. Right? They've got popcorn and candy and a movie. But, you could keep going back, but you still weren't going to find what you were looking for. What a huge leap in evolution that is for you and for the planet as a whole. What an incredible evolutionary leap that is from the unconscious state into a conscious awareness that what I'm putting out in this moment about whatever this is either going to lead me in a direction that opens me to greater learning and experience, or it's going to be more of the same. And how many times have we done more of the same? Yeah, but we think we're different. And then one day it sneaks up on us, I thought I was different. I thought I didn't do that anymore. You remember that? Healing out of your childhood. Oh, my dears. I thought I was over it. And then this perfect package arrives on the doorstep of your consciousness. Not because the universe wants to harm you, but because you're ready to step through that doorway. And everything within this conscious universe, this divinely ordered energy, is doing one thing. It is moving you into the reality of who you really are. And it does require of us not that we be something or be more than or improve ourselves more, not that, but that we understand more deeply and fundamentally the truth of who we really are. And that as many times as we need to remind ourselves of the great cause, the one presence, the one power, expressing as us in this unique and wondrous way. As many times as we need to be brought to the threshold of that door, we do at some point in time feel an impulse, a response to move beyond what we've continued to believe and think and live from. It's such an amazing process. After all these years of study and whatever I've done, it always comes back to this. Not that I'm stuck in ancient patterning, but that the threshold is always right there. And that the opportunity is always there to bring my attention into focus of source here, because all those visits to Radio Shack didn't do it. And there's only one point of freedom. So the book that I've been working from, written by, I haven't figured out yet how to pronounce his name. I think it's Derek Rudall, Rudall, I don't know. But I've been in his book a lot. I should find out how to pronounce his name. He's very clear, and he uses it over and over and over and over again, that we are seeds, not unlike great acorn seeds producing great oak trees, but we are seeded, if you will. We are seeded with this innate impulse toward our divine awakening, toward our realization. And what he would say to us is, when the conditions are right for that acorn, it fulfills its own seeded nature. You can open it, there may or may not be anything visible that would cause you to think that this is going to be, this huge tree that brings you shade, or drops leaves in your yard, depending on how you want to see that. But that which seems invisible within us is seeded to come forth into full visibility, because it can be no other way. That's the movement of this evolutionary field, igniting within us the elements, if you will, until we can turn toward and bring our attention to the self with capital S, and give it more of us and more of the power of its own expression than to all this stuff we do with our human minds. It can be no other way. If we are one with all that is the evolutionary creative force of all life, then it's not missing where you sit. And we say, I don't know how to get there. Or I don't know if I want that anyway. Because we don't know that we're already being pushed and prompted and revealed, and that the magic key isn't to be a better self-improved version of you, but to be in alignment, in the zone of awareness, allowing that to have its innate, emerging, innate wisdom at work in your life. So he says there's cause and effect at the simple level, that I am my thoughts and therefore I create. But he said there's something much greater at work in us. And he said it's the higher law, and it's the law of grace. What he would say is grace is not a special dispensation from the universe for you because you are special and different. We just hate that part. That's not our favorite part. I am special and I'm different. Yeah, well, and that in you that reflects that way is the emerging law of grace, a kind of living with a kind of freedom that knows that you are not just suspended in space on a string, but that which knows itself and has all of its elements at work, and with our alignment can begin to be a powerful way in which we live, move, and have being. Not because we're the best kid on the block, or because our mothers loved us or didn't, or whoever. It is not separate. It doesn't divide for good children and bad children, or good grown-ups or bad grown-ups. It's not divisible. It doesn't divide. And so you say, the place I find myself is not the place I choose to be. I will self-improve. I will lose weight. I will grow tall and thin. I will read every book. I have people I have known who reported that they took all their spiritual books to their bed and piled them on the bed, believing that in the night they were being taught out of all these books. Like, man, how does that work? I know, I'm growing and learning. I'm not dismissing it. It's a possibility. I've never tried it. Like, if I could just tap in to the right place at the right time and get my mind in and my heart in alignment, I will pop open. Seed, oak tree, me. We're all together in this. I'll cause it. I will cause the divine to awaken in me by working harder and doing those damn affirmations night and day. I will cause the universe to awaken in my consciousness. You say, I know a whole lot of people who woke up who didn't even know they were on the path. I'm not kidding. Like, full awakening. They were just walking down the street. They report their experience. Everything fell away. They were just standing there. I was like, why couldn't it be me? Right? I've done the work. I'm all about growing my consciousness. What if we could allow that which we are to be in alignment with that reality of being without changing a sweet hair on our precious heads? What if it could just be? No, I want the big time. I want the robe. I want the incense. I want the holy thing that happens. Well, you know, so did I. What do I have? Cancer. What am I learning? How holy I am? How screwed up the universe is? How I must have taken a misstep? How I've forgotten my nature? Nope, I'm studying myself. I'm studying myself. I'm studying where I take myself and how I am with me in this process. Holy doesn't show up a whole lot of the time in an overt way. It's like, could you just get me through today? That's when I'm really in my, could you just get me through today? Do I doubt the reality of that which I am? Because this is a really important question. Because I can't outpicture it exactly. I can't mirror it for myself sometimes. Do I doubt that it is so? I don't know. There's some magic in the way I see life. Thank you, God. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt the perfection of divine order. I don't doubt the presence. I really don't. I don't know where it's taking me. And I don't know where these pieces are leading, but I'll tell you what. The grace of being able to look at it all and say, it's all okay with me because there's no way to be outside that which I am and that which is. And somehow through all these years, there is that residing reality at the core of my being. It just is. I didn't even make it. I tried hard. But you know what? That prayer, he said, I worked it and did it, and lo and behold, there was a moment of stillness, and in that stillness, my prayer was answered. It's like we don't really know even the nature of our own prayers, what to pray for. What are we praying for? Well, that our child will be safe, that we have what we need, that the house sales, that the body is restored, that whatever it might be, what do we pray for? But the twist to this and our way of consciously being in relationship with this divine order is to turn toward that order as it's presencing itself moment by moment in the midst of us and the experience of our lives. And there's great cause in that. And there is the blessing of effect. sometimes just the effect of a moment, a breath, a stillness, a remembering something. A book shows up that you haven't seen for a long time. And you open it and you think, I must have read that before, but I've never seen it like that. And something in you pops open and you think, I've grown, look. Look, I've grown and I understand it. I used to have to put that book back on the shelf. Now I look at it, I go, oh, I get that. I think there's been an evolution, and it isn't that you made it be, it is that it's been being and you've noticed it, because it can be no other way. We are a divine unfolding. Grace is the realization that no matter what appears on the surface of life, no matter what has come before us or what appears to be lost, when you tap back into this perfect seed pattern within you, it will emerge again fresh, vital, overflowing, filled with new possibilities. The realization of grace, I live and move and have my being in a state of grace, is a holy instant, and your life is made new. We live and move and have our being in a state of grace. It can be no other way. You could not be. If it were not so, I would have told you, he said. If it were not so, I would have told you, I've come to prepare a place for you. A powerful commission. I've come to prepare a place for you in this world in all its glory and possibility, just where you are. Thanks for being who you are. And we just keep moving forward, but we trust that within us to lead the way. And so it is. I give joyfully and easily. Yes. Thank you. Thanks. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source. Abundance is my nature. Can you hear it? I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. And so it is. Thank you. Here come the kids. They're coming. 1, 2, 3, 5. How many? We only need one. I know that girl. I know that girl. Hi.
Child of light, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, just the way you are. And our prayer for protection. The light